Since you started your notary business, strive for excellence. Introducing the book, Notary Operational Excellence by Derrick Spruill. Build your business on a beacon of precision and trust with expert advice. Check out Notary Operational Excellence by Derrick Spruill from Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, Books of Million, Bookshop.org, Mobile Notary by DerrickSpruill.com, or download from Kindle today.
Imagine sitting in a sweltering car right in the middle of July.
Oh, that is the worst. Just brutal.
Right. You've just finished this grueling closing appointment, and, well, the clock is officially ticking.
Yeah, the timer has started.
Exactly. You have exactly 15 minutes to take a stack of, maybe 200 highly sensitive financial documents, and you have to perfectly digitize them, compress them, encrypt the data, and then upload the entire package to a localized portal.
And if you don't?
Well, if you miss that wire cutoff, it costs your client thousands of dollars.
Right. The stakes are just incredibly high.
So if you're listening to this in your vehicle right now, waiting for a signing to start, you probably know exactly the knot in your stomach we're talking about.
For sure.
It's that moment of pure panic when your upload progress bar just freezes at 99%.
It really is the single most stressful 15 minutes of the job. It's where the actual transaction meets the brutal reality of mobile technology.
Welcome to Notary Knowledge. You know who we are.
Yes, we do.
We've been looking at the changing landscape of this industry for a while now, and, well, if you've been with us through our previous discussions, we like to take a thoughtful, reflective approach to the realities of this work.
Right. Taking that experienced, high-level perspective.
Exactly. Now, before we jump completely into today's focus, I have some very exciting news to share.
Oh, yeah, the new stuff.
We have some incredible new shows launching in July. You're going to want to keep an ear out for No Notary with Eddie Montes Travis, as well as Marylyn's 90 Seconds of Notary.
Those are going to be just fantastic additions to the lineup, really dynamic formats,
Absolutely. Also, just a quick reminder to our community, be sure to check out the Notary Knowledge book by Derrick Spruill and visit the Notary Knowledge website for more resources.
Highly recommend those.
We'd also really love it if you could rate the show, subscribe, and share it with others in the field. Your support means everything, and it keeps these conversations going.
It really does. It helps a ton.
So, today we are turning our attention to something that fundamentally changes how you operate in the field. We are focusing on the art of the Scanback.
A huge topic.
Yeah, and the reality of building the ultimate mobile office. Because, let's be honest, we need to pause and reflect on the incredibly high-stakes logistics of mobile document digitization.
What's fascinating here is that we often talk about the physical act of notarization, right? Like the stamps, the verification, the laws.
Like the actual tableside stuff.
Exactly. But the technological execution that happens immediately after the ink dries is just as critical. And frankly, it is where a lot of very good professionals stumble.
Yeah, I want to start with that pressure cooker I mentioned in the beginning, that post-closing timeline.
The dreaded SLA.
Yes. We're looking at the industry standard for a Scanback, and it is highly demanding. A mobile notary often has a 15-minute service level agreement, an SLA, to scan and upload a flawless closing package.
And we are talking about packages that are anywhere from 100 to 200 pages long.
Right. And you're doing this from the front seat of a sedan.
With the steering wheel in your way, usually. And the expectation from the title company is absolute perfection.
I have to push back on this expectation right out of the gate, though. Is it really fair for title companies to expect a 200-page, flawless digital upload from a parked car in 15 minutes?
It's intense, I know.
I look at this and I think of a Formula One pit stop. If you haven't planned your physical movements, your technology, and your cellular connection before the car even comes to a halt, you've already lost the race.
That is a great comparison. It is an intensely demanding expectation, but if we connect this to the bigger picture, the mechanism behind that 15-minute window makes total sense.
Why? Why the rush?
That deadline exists because of the financial domino effect. Late scanbacks delay funding timelines.
Okay.
Escrow officers are sitting at their desks, literally aggressively refreshing their screens, waiting on your digital files to hit their portal so they can authorize the release of funds before the daily wire cutoff.
Oh, wow. So if you miss it...
If you miss that window, you can compromise a borrower's rate lock. That costs real people real money, and it stalls the entire real estate transaction.
So the pressure is entirely justified by the financial mechanics of the deal, even if it feels punishing to the person sweating in the car.
Exactly. And that brings up a crucial point from the source material we reviewed, specifically about thoughtful acceptance.
Right, vetting the job first.
Yes. The work of meeting that 15-minute SLA actually begins hours before the appointment. Before you even click accept on an offer, you have to vet the Scanback feasibility.
What does that vetting actually look like in practice, though?
Well, it means you are mathematically calculating your logistics. You look at the delivery method required. You look up the physical drop-off office location if they require wet signatures shipped the same day.
Right.
You have to open your map app and calculate the drive time from the signing location to the drop-off, factoring in afternoon traffic patterns and, parking availability.
They're calculating all of that before you even accept the job.
You have to. A high-level professional doesn't just blindly accept an assignment and hope for the best.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You check the return deadlines, you check the secure upload portal parameters, and you even have to think about the cellular signal strength at the signing location.
Oh, cell signal, of course.
Right, because if you know you are driving out to a rural property with zero cell service, you know you cannot meet a 15-minute upload SLA from your car.
So what do? Just decline it.
Countering the offer or explaining precisely why you are declining based on logistics is the mark of a true professional. It prevents a cascading failure later in the day.
That makes perfect sense. Failing to vet the environment causes the SLA failure. You can't execute that Formula One pit stop if you didn't bother to check if you brought the right tires.
Spot on.
Which brings us to the actual tools you need to pull this off. Let's talk hardware. Because if you want to beat that SLA, standard consumer tech just isn't going to cut it.
No, it absolutely will not. For this volume of paper, you need a dedicated, high-speed, sheet-fed document scanner.
Okay, I'm going to stop you right there.
Here we go.
I mean, smartphone cameras today are absolute masterpieces of engineering. The lenses on a modern smartphone are phenomenal.
True.
So why on earth should I drop $300 or $400 on a bulky hardware scanner and wire it into my car when I have a high-definition scanner app right in my pocket?
It's a fair challenge, and those apps like Adobe Scan, Scanner Pro, or TurboScan, they are fantastic pieces of software.
Right. I use them all the time.
Sure, but they are strictly for emergency backups or for very small seller packages, usually under 30 pages.
Oh, really? Just 30?
Yeah. If you try to use a smartphone app for a 150-page buyer package, you will fail the SLA, guaranteed.
Why? I mean, tapping a screen 150 times takes a few minutes, sure, but it shouldn't take 15. Is it just the speed?
It's the speed, yes, but more importantly, it is the environmental physics of scanning in a car. Think about it. You are holding a phone by hand. Your hand shakes slightly. The lighting is coming through the windows, casting heavy shadows from the steering wheel across the paper.
Oh, I hate when that happens.
Phone apps are incredibly prone to creating distorted, curved, or shadowed images under those conditions. Title companies and lenders have extremely strict legibility standards for their underwriters.
So they just bounce it back.
They will outright reject a shadow-covered, skewed PDF.
I guess using a phone app for a massive loan package is a bit like trying to paint a house with a toothbrush.
Exactly.
You might technically get paint on the wall, but it's going to look terrible and take you all day.
That is a perfect way to put it. To do it right, you need hardware with an automatic document feeder, or ADF, that can physically pull 30 to 50 pages at a time without jamming.
Yeah.
And crucially, you need single-pass duplex scanning.
Single-pass duplex. I want to make sure I understand the mechanism there. That means the scanner has two optical lenses inside, reading both the front and the back of the page at the exact same millisecond as it passes through, right?
Spot on. If you have a cheaper scanner that only reads one side, and you encounter double-sided documents, your scanning speed is literally cut in half.
You're sitting there manually flipping pages over trying to refeed them in order.
It's a nightmare. The models that consistently perform well in the OBL environment are the absolute workhorses.
Like which ones?
Things like the Epson Workforce ES402, the wireless ES500W2, the ES580W, which has a massive 100-sheet capacity, the Brother ADS1700W, and the Fujitsu ScanSnap series.
Okay, so you have the speed and the quality with those, but that introduces a completely different massive hurdle, the file size.
Yes, the dreaded file bloat.
Right. If I scan 200 pages at maximum quality, I'm going to end up with a 50 megabyte file. A file that size is going to crash the title company's web portal, or it's going to bounce back from their email server, and I'm back to panicking in the driver's seat.
Which is precisely why you have to configure your hardware software correctly. This is where a lot of people make a critical error.
What do they do wrong?
Well, you want to set your scanner resolution to somewhere between 200 and 240 dpi, that's dots per inch, and strictly in black and white.
Wait, not color. Even if they signed in blue ink.
Not for the Scanback, no, unless the instructions explicitly demand it.
Why is that?
Here is why. If you scan in color, or if you bump the DPI up to, say, 600, the scanner is trying to capture millions of unnecessary pixels. It's capturing the microscopic grain of the paper, the slight variations in the blue ink. That bloats the file massively.
Oh, I see.
By setting it to black and white at 200 DPI, the software strips out all that noise. It just looks for stark boundaries. Is this pixel black, or is it white?
So it keeps the text crisp.
It keeps the text incredibly crisp for the underwriter, but the file size stays tiny.
That makes total sense.
And you can take it a step further. Software like UScan can take that same 200-page document and use advanced compression algorithms to crush it down to just 6 or 7 megabytes without losing any legibility.
That is incredibly efficient. And speaking of avoiding portal crashes, there was a brilliant pro tip we pulled from the forums regarding localized web portals giving error codes.
Oh, yes, the 20-character limit.
Right. I found this fascinating. If you are uploading to certain secure portals and your file name is too long, like let's say Smith Refinance Closing Package Sign final.pdf,
Yeah.
the portal's back-end architecture just can't process the string length.
It just gives up.
Yeah, it will just reject it or give you an obscure error code.
Yeah.
You're sitting in your car thinking your internet is broken, but it's literally just the file name.
Such a frustrating way to fail in SLA.
Keeping the file name under 20 characters, like borrower name scan, can completely prevent that localized portal error.
It's those tiny granular details that separate the amateurs from the veterans.
Absolutely. So let's look at the environment we've just built here.
Okay.
You have a high-speed wireless scanner sitting in your vehicle. It is rapidly scanning hundreds of pages of highly sensitive financial documents and wirelessly connecting to your laptop or tablet. You have essentially turned your sedan into a mobile data center.
Which introduces massive, catastrophic security liabilities.
Right. I was reading through the sources, and the analogy hit me perfectly. We talked earlier about coffee shops.
Yeah, the public Wi-Fi issue.
Using public Wi-Fi, like at a coffee shop or a local library, to transmit a Scanback. I mean, it's literally the equivalent of standing on a table in a crowded cafe and shouting the borrower's social security number, date of birth, and bank routing information through a megaphone.
That is a terrifyingly accurate analogy.
It really is.
Because on public Wi-Fi, there is zero encryption. Anyone running a basic packet sniffing program on their laptop 3 tables over can intercept that PDF in plain text as it leaves your computer. It is strictly forbidden.
Because as a professional, you are handling non-public personal information, or NPI.
Yes. You are bound by federal law here. The Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act, the GLBA, and the FTC Safeguards Rule. You are legally mandated to protect that data.
So how do we safely transmit the Scanback from a parked car without relying on a public network?
You basically have 2 compliant encrypted options. The first is Wi-Fi Direct.
How does that work?
Modern scanners actually generate their own localized, secure, invisible network. Your phone or tablet connects directly to the scanner, completely bypassing any external routers.
Oh, that's smart. And the second option?
The second option is using a password-protected personal mobile hotspot on your smartphone, which utilizes 256-bit AES encryption over a cellular network to reach the internet.
Okay, so the transmission is secure, the title company gets the file, they confirm receipt, and the underwriter is happy. Am I good to just right-click that PDF, send it to the trash bin on my laptop, empty the trash, and drive to my next appointment?
Absolutely not.
No.
No, this raises an incredibly important question about digital disposal and how computer storage actually works. Simply deleting a file or even formatting a hard drive does not actually remove the data.
Explain that to us, because I think most people assume empty trash means the file is completely gone.
It's a common misconception. Think of your hard drive like a massive textbook.
Okay.
When you hit delete, all the computer does is erase the entry in the table of contents. It tells the operating system, hey, This space is now available to be written over if you need it.
Wait, really?
Yeah. The actual chapters, the MPI, the social security numbers, the signatures, they are still sitting on the pages. They are fully intact and recoverable by anyone with basic free recovery software you can just download off the internet.
That is deeply unsettling.
It should be. To actually adhere to the FTC safeguards rule, practitioners must use logical clearing methods that adhere to NIST SP 888 guidelines.
NIST being the National Institute of Standards and Technology? So how does logical clearing actually work? Let me see if I can build an analogy here. Is it like having a cassette tape with a sensitive recording on it, and instead of just throwing the tape in a drawer, you put it in the stereo and hit record while playing loud static over the entire tape, just completely burying the original audio?
That is exactly how it works.
Yeah.
You use specialized software that actively writes over the storage blocks.
So it writes actual data over the old data?
Yes. It might write a 0 to every single sector, then a 1, then a random character. It actively overwrites the space where the NPI lived, making recovery mathematically impossible.
Wow.
And implementing this is a core component of a WISP, a written information security program.
A WISP. Let's unpack that concept briefly.
A WSP is a formalized, documented set of policies designed to protect personal information. It's legally required in several states, like Massachusetts, but it is a universal best practice.
What does it cover?
It covers your access controls, your encryption methods, and your incident response plan. It's not just about stopping hackers, it's about protecting your own business from liability.
Right, because if you get breached...
If a breach happens and you don't have a WMS place showing you took reasonable precautions, the fines and the reputational damage will end your career overnight.
That is sobering, but necessary to understand. Now, I want to pivot, because scanning is really only half the battle of the Scanback process.
Sure.
Let's say you are sitting at the table with the signers, doing your final quality check before leaving. You realize a signature is missing, or a date is wrong, or maybe the closing disclosure has a critical flaw. You can't just leave. You have to fix it.
And you certainly can't just cross things out and write in new numbers without explicit permission.
Right. So if the title company generates a corrected page and emails it to you, you have to print that fix right there on the spot.
Yes.
Which means your mobile office isn't just a scanning station. You have to build a mobile printing press into your car.
And the hardware requirements for that printer are just as uncompromising as the scanner.
You need a dual-tray laser printer, something robust like the Brother HLL5210 DW2, or a dual-tray specifically.
Because loan packages contain a mix of letter and legal-sized documents. A dual-tray printer holds both sizes simultaneously and pulls the correct paper size automatically based on the PDF's coding,
keeping it in order.
This keeps the package in its original sequential order.
Okay, I have to challenge this.
Yeah.
Bringing a massive, heavy, dual-tray Brother printer into a Honda Civic seems insane to me. What if I just buy a small single-tray printer, go into Adobe Acrobat, hit Shrink to Fit, and print the 14-inch legal documents on standard 11-inch letter paper?
No, never. That is a catastrophic error.
Really?
Shrinking a legal document to letter size is considered altering the document.
I mean, I guess it's like taking a blueprint for a house and arbitrarily shrinking one room on the paper. You've changed the legal boundaries.
Exactly. The title company will reject it, the county recorder might refuse to record it, and you will likely lose that client permanently. You simply cannot shrink legal documents.
Wow. Okay, so shrinking is out. What about those tiny portable inkjet printers? They take up barely any space.
Inkjet printers are a massive liability in this field. The ink is wet when it hits the page, so it smears easily.
Oh, true.
If a drop of rain hits the document as you walk from the house to your car, the text bleeds and becomes illegible. Furthermore, county recorders may outright refuse to record a deed of trust or a grant deed if it's printed on an inkjet.
Why does a recorder care what machine printed it?
Archival quality. Inkjet ink fades over time. Laser printers, on the other hand, use toner powder, which is literally melted and fused onto the page using intense heat.
So it's permanent.
It's permanent, it's waterproof, and it lasts for decades.
But wait, if a laser printer uses intense heat to melt powder, it must require a massive amount of power. I know they have a huge startup surge when that fuser roller heats up.
They do.
If it requires that much juice, is it really worth turning the backseat of my car into a power grid?
It is a serious logistical challenge for sure. You cannot plug a laser printer into your car's cigarette lighter. You will blow a fuse instantly.
Right.
You need a dedicated pure sine wave inverter wired directly to your car battery, or a high-capacity portable power station.
Why a pure sine wave inverter specifically? I see cheap modified sine wave inverters online all the time.
Think of pure sine wave power like rolling, smooth hills. It delivers clean, consistent electricity exactly like a wall outlet in your house.
Yeah.
A modified sine wave is like a rigid, blocky staircase. It's choppy power.
And printers don't like choppy power.
A laser printer's internal motherboard is highly sensitive. If you feed it choppy, modified sine wave power, you will literally fry the printer's electronics.
Oh, wow, just instantly.
Pretty much. Yes, wiring a pure sine wave system is an investment, but having a mobile laser printer elevates you. When you can call an escrow officer, tell them there's an error, receive the new file, print it perfectly in your car, get it signed, and still meet your shipping deadline.
You stop being a basic vendor.
You become an invaluable top-tier asset.
You become the person who saves the deal rather than the person who delays it. That makes the investment completely worth it.
It absolutely does.
All right, I want to take a breath here. We've been deep in the weeds of high-tech logistics.
Very deep in the weeds.
The 15-minute SLAs, the AES intriction, the power draw of laser fusers. But I want to pivot to our good question, what would you do segment? Because all of this incredible technology is completely useless if you fail to navigate the complex human dynamics at the actual signing table.
That is the absolute truth. The technology is just a tool. The human interaction is the core of the job.
I was reviewing some fantastic real-world scenarios outlined by a mobile notary service in Dallas, specifically regarding best practices in hospitals and nursing homes.
Very challenging environments.
Exactly. These are environments where the pressure isn't about time limits, it's about ethics and capacity. Let's talk through a few of these.
Let's do it.
Scenario 1. You are called to a hospital room. The patient is in bed, clearly disinterested, and explicitly tells you they just want to be allowed to sleep.
Okay.
But the spouse is present, and the spouse is panicking, insisting they sign the power of attorney right now. The spouse is literally forcing a pen into the patient's hand and pointing aggressively to the signature line.
Oh, man. The best practice here is absolute refusal. You must respect the patient's wish to sleep.
Even with the spouse yelling at you.
Yes. You politely decline to notarize, but you promise to return later when and if the patient appears alert and willing to sign. You cannot allow coercion, no matter how much emotional or physical pressure the spouse applies in that room.
It requires a lot of backbone.
It really does.
What about this one? Scenario 2. You arrive at the home of an elderly person. A relative lets you in and introduces you, urging you to just get the paperwork done quickly so everyone can get back to their day.
Happens all the time.
But the elderly person is acting in a childlike manner. They seem completely detached from reality. When you ask them simple foundational questions like, do you know what this document is and are you signing willingly? They cannot give you a coherent response.
Again, you must refuse the notarization. The lack of a coherent response indicates a strong likelihood that the individual lacks the cognitive capacity to understand the legal action they are taking.
So you just pack up and leave.
Your job is to verify awareness. If you cannot establish awareness, you cannot proceed.
Okay, scenario 3. And this one is tricky.
Let's hear it.
You are at a nursing home. The patient is bedridden but sitting up, and the documents are on a tray table. But the patient's speech is heavily slurred due to a medical condition. They cannot communicate with you directly or respond clearly to your greetings.
Okay, that's tough.
However, a friend is sitting in the corner and offers to interpret what the patient is trying to say so you can just get the job done.
You decline to notarize.
Really? Even with an interpreter?
Without clear, direct, two-way communication between you and the signer, you cannot definitively establish their awareness or willingness. Furthermore, you cannot rely on a third-party interpreter in this specific context because you have no way of knowing if that friend has an ulterior motive for misrepresenting the signer's true condition or intent.
These scenarios are so heavy. How does a professional balance this?
It's the hardest part of the job.
On one hand, you have the immense pressure of the 15-minute SLA, the title company breathing down your necks for the scanbacks, the risk of a delayed funding, the money you spent building a mobile office.
Right.
And yet, you have to possess the fortitude to halt a signing, walk out of the room, and throw all that preparation away because of a signer's state of mind.
It requires a profound understanding of your ultimate role. The technology, the inverters, the scanners, they serve the transaction, they serve the logistics.
But the notary.
You, the human being, serve the law and the public trust. Your primary overriding duty is verifying willingness and awareness. If you compromise that fundamental duty just to meet an SLA or please an escrow officer, you undermine the entire legal foundation of the document.
That is a powerful distinction. Serving the transaction versus serving the law.
It is the defining characteristic of the profession. And if we look toward the future, it raises an incredibly provocative thought for you to mull over.
What's that?
We are seeing remote online notarization, or RON, becoming more standard. We are seeing AI document tagging that automatically routes and encrypts files. The physical act of scanning paper in the backseat of a car might eventually disappear entirely as the industry goes fully digital.
Which would make all this hardware, the whole mobile office, completely obsolete.
Perhaps the hardware, yes. But here's the thought I want to leave you with. As the paperwork becomes automated and digitized by artificial intelligence, the notary's role as the ultimate physical human safeguard against fraud, coercion, and elder abuse will only become more vital.
Because the AI can't read the room.
Exactly. The machines can verify the encryption data, but only a human being can look someone in the eye, read the room, and verify their free will.
The human element becomes the premium service, the ultimate firewall.
Beautifully said.
That is an amazing thought to end on. As always, we want to hear from you. Email your questions to Derrick at derrickspruill.com. We will try to answer as soon as possible at the end of our shows.
Send them in. We love reading them.
And a quick reminder, please go buy the Notary Knowledge books by Derrick Spruill and visit the Notary Knowledge website. Our executive producer is Derrick Spruill, lead writer Marylyn Trotter, graphics by Montes Travis, music by Thomas Bynum, and the show is produced by magnificent Workz Business Solutions. Don't just be listeners of the knowledge, be doers of the knowledge. This is Notary Knowledge. Until next time.
Since you started your notary business, strive for excellence. Introducing the book, Notary Operational Excellence by Derrick Spruill. Build your business on a beacon of precision and trust with expert advice. Check out Notary Operational Excellence by Derrick Spruill from Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, Books of Million, Bookshop.org, Mobile Notary by DerrickSpruill.com, or download from Kindle today.